As I sit down to record this, I don't know what I'm going to end up titling this thing, partially because the perfect title of YouTube Has a YouTube Problem was already used by Stephanie Sterling 7 years ago. Some things never change, though, so here we are. Hey there, folks. There is a very good chance that a lot of what I'm going to say is not news to you. There is an increasing number of creators on here making note of the various rather sudden changes that have been negatively affecting them. And I want to go over some of that. And even if this isn't particularly new to you, I'm going to touch on a few things that I am not seeing as much focus put on. And also, if you're wondering, why are you talking about this? If you're saying a bunch of people who are probably a lot bigger than you are already talking about it, well, I'll get there at the end because, yeah, there is a reason that I want to add my voice to all of this, aside from just venting frustration because, where to start? Well, why don't we start with the thing that seems to be grabbing the most attention, at least that I have seen get the most attention, which is the issue of restricted mode. If you're unaware, restricted mode is a browsing option when you're on YouTube that will stop you from being able to see certain videos. Now, to be clear, this isn't just a matter of they don't show up in your feed. If you go to an actual channel's main page, you will still not see videos that are marked as being blocked when you're in restricted mode. Now, in and of itself, as a concept, this isn't the worst thing in the world. That having been said, there are a lot of problems, like a ton of problems. The big ones are that, first of all, users are finding that they have been put in restricted mode with no action taken on their part. Now, this does not appear to have been done as a massive default thing, but I have seen more than a few people note that when they looked into it, they suddenly found out that their account and their viewing of YouTube was in restricted mode. And as a result, they were not seeing a whole lot of stuff from creators that they were subscribed to and wanted to see their stuff. So that's a big problem, that YouTube is just arbitrarily switching on this feature for users. But even that wouldn't be such a big problem if it wasn't for the fact that we have no idea what qualifies something to be marked for restricted mode. You would think, logically, that a video that has restricted monetization is in any way marked for adults, etc. That's the stuff that would be removed in restricted mode, because that's what would make sense. Restricted mode very obviously goes way, way, way farther than that. And this is where I can kind of lend a little bit of insight you might not get from other YouTubers, because while I try incredibly hard to keep this channel as advertiser friendly and have my stuff viewable to the general public, this is not the only channel I run. And one of my channels, I fairly regularly put out stuff that is marked as 18 plus and for adults. And not just like YouTube BS, they mark stuff that they shouldn't have. I mean, I'm not going to say that's never happened, but there's stuff I put up there that I voluntarily mark as for 18 plus because the subject matter I'm discussing is not intended for minors. So as someone who willingly engages with the fact that if you mark something as 18 plus, your monetization is severely restricted and your views go down by so much. Yeah, I know what that's like. That's not the same thing as this restricted mode thing, though. Let's use my own channel as a result. Here is, at the time of my recording, the latest look of what's been going up on my channel. This is the normal view. This is the restricted view. That is a whole bunch of stuff very suddenly gone. Now, this was from my own looking into it. I've already been tagged on Blue Sky by people who were seeing the same thing and wanted to be sure that I knew. And while I'm willing to grant that the videos that were removed in restricted view, at least the most recent ones, weren't exactly on the lightest, fluffiest, most pleasant topics in the world, I was very careful to approach them in a way that was not something that should mean it gets taken off of people's feeds. Here's the really infuriating thing from the back end. You, one, are not notified in any way, shape, or form if your video is blocked when a user is using restricted mode. Because this is what it looks like. Here's where the restrictions are supposed to be noted. Here's where you are supposed to see if there are any restrictions on being able to view your videos. And all these videos, it's none. All the way down. No restrictions, no restrictions, no restrictions. So why is it in restricted mode you cannot see these videos? Obviously, something has happened on YouTube's side that suddenly has decided, no, this shouldn't be seen unless somebody's very specifically viewing in unrestricted mode. Oh, and also we're going to turn a bunch of people into restricted mode without telling them, just to compound the issue. And naturally, we don't have any list or even guidelines of what gets something marked as restricted. And we were given no real heads up about this. We definitely were not given a heads up that stuff would be marked as restricted without us being able to see that that was the case, or that our viewers would have their accounts put into restricted mode. I'm sure if I were to go through everything that YouTube put out, I could probably find some kind of heads up that restricted mode was going to be introduced as an option, but they absolutely did not prep us for what the actual reality has been. And this has really been hitting a lot of channels very hard. I became aware of this when Second Wind put out a video talking about how the views on Fully Ramblematic, which is their flagship series and gets incredibly consistent views, suddenly was getting about half the views that it was before. And in trying to figure out why that happened, they discovered that a bunch of the stuff was blocked in restricted mode. Now, you might be thinking, if you watch Fully Ramblematic, yeah, but there's a bunch of swearing in those videos. That's probably it, right? Can't really be it, because there was one of the recent videos whose views was fine and definitely had swears in it.
So this can't be because of swearing. There's more than a few naughty words in that, plus references to hobbit cucking.
Now, how much is this hurting me? It's hard to say. Unfortunately, I am in a position where it's really difficult for me to judge if this has hit me or not, because my videos do not have the most consistent view count in the world. This is a major part of why I never get sponsorships. I'm not above taking them. I am picky, but I'm certainly not above taking sponsorships. The problem is sponsors don't want to work with me because I can't guarantee a minimum view amount, because my views are kind of all over the place. So I look at these videos that are invisible in restricted mode, and I don't know, were they hurt by it? Possibly. I mean, just to kind of clue you in on the metrics I use for myself, anything that gets to 10K is fine. That's acceptable. That's not to say I never release anything that I know won't make it to 10K. There was this video earlier in the year that meant a lot to me and I knew wasn't going to hit 10K, but strictly going by numbers, under 10K is a flop. That is a failure. 10 to 20 is fine. That's not great. That's not really necessarily a well I need to go back to anytime soon, or if it has been a topic that I have brought up more than once, maybe it's time to ease off that topic because maybe people are tired of it, etc., etc. Anything over 20, I am happy with. Like, legit. I am happy with that. If I can hit 40, I'm ecstatic. And anything beyond that, whew, by my metrics that I hold for myself, that's incredible. Now, you'll notice some of these videos have broken 20. The thing is, though, some of these topics are also the kind of thing that I'm not going to say I necessarily expected it to do better, but I would not have been shocked if they did. I'm looking specifically at things like the video I did about Michelle Gomez in relation to the Harry Potter audiobook and the video that I did on hatedoms. Now, were these guaranteed to do better than they ended up doing? Well, no. Again, I don't have number consistency where I can say that with confidence, but I can say, looking at the thumbnails and the topics and what similar topics have done for me in the past, I feel like these could have been more successful. The hatedom one, throwing Has Been a Hell of a Boss in there, honestly, that is a pretty hot topic right now in terms of playing well with the algorithm. And as far as the Michelle Gomez thing, well, anything Harry Potter related tends to do quite well for me, even though I try to avoid the subject if I can get away with it. But when I compare that to, say, the video I did on John Lithgow getting cast in Harry Potter, it's not even close. But then again, there might also be other factors. John Lithgow was the first name that was announced. Actually, it was announced a little bit before it was supposed to be. And he is a much more recognizable name than Michelle Gomez. So those might be factors in that. And as far as the hatedom was, I don't know, maybe I could have worded the title better. The point is, these probably would have done better. I just personally can't quantify how much better. But there are absolutely other YouTubers out there, like Second Wind Group, who can quantify pretty reliably how much this is hurting them. So while that is the main problem going on, and the main thing that I want to bring attention to, because YouTube is flat out hiding a whole bunch of YouTubers' videos, not informing the YouTuber in any way, not letting them know what the problem is, not even letting them know that there is a problem, so there's absolutely no way that they can address it, either on existing videos or on future ones, and all that is fricked up. That's not the only problem, and it kind of folds into a whole bunch of other stuff, because YouTube is implementing a whole bunch of AI features. And while I don't know if it's been confirmed that the selections for restricted mode are AI powered, I freaking guarantee you they are. I say that with a high degree of confidence because it's what makes the most sense. This happened so fast to so many people on such a massive scale. Machine learning is what makes the most sense. And the extra aggravation of the fact that AI is determining what should be put into restricted mode is that that would very much explain why we're not being notified and don't know why things are being restricted. Because YouTube probably doesn't know either. This is something that really needs to be remembered about so-called AI and these large language models, is that the people who made it have a very limited understanding of how it actually thinks. What they do is they put inputs into it until it starts giving them the outputs that they expect. But that doesn't mean they actually understand how the AI came to that conclusion. They don't know. A lot of the time, they assume it came to it the same way a person might come to that conclusion, but they don't know that for certain. There are longer videos explaining this by other people who are more tech literate than I am, but it would certainly explain why it happened so fast to so many of us, and there's no explanation because YouTube probably doesn't have an explanation. So, since we're already on the ways that AI is ruining the experience of this site, both for viewers and creators, why don't we talk about some of the other stuff that's been going on? Something that was discovered just a matter of weeks ago and that I'm learning while I'm editing this was that YouTube has started using AI on existing videos. It appears to mainly be doing it to impact the visuals, but they never notified YouTubers they were going to do this, and they absolutely never asked for permission. Aside from just the general grossness of any creator having their stuff altered without their knowledge, it's generally noticeable enough that things look slightly off and suddenly viewers are thinking that a creator they like is using AI when we're not. YouTube has also started implementing AI to assist with placement of mid-roll ads, which did the exact same thing the last time they did an update to the mid-roll system, which was to stick a bunch of mid-roll ads in videos that didn't previously have them there. I already made a short talking about this because I will put on longer videos that I've already seen from creators I like just as background noise because it helps with my ADHD a little bit while I'm doing a slightly mindless task. And I've already noticed that a whole bunch of older videos that definitely did not have an ad break every 3 minutes now do. And I've gone in and looked at my own videos and I have in fact found at least several where there were brand new mid-roll ads that I definitely did not put there. And that's just the stuff that's actually happened. There's also the stuff coming down the pipe. So with that in mind, let's talk about some of the ways that they have been messing with the comment section on the back end. So here's kind of the big one. It used to default both in the app and on desktop with newest. Whatever were the newest comments, that would be at the top. And as you scroll down, you go back in time. It currently defaults to quote unquote most relevant. What is determining that it's most relevant? Well, AI, I freaking guarantee you that. But by what criteria? What is it believed to be relevant? I don't know, but it and I are definitely not on the same page because I always have to change it to newest because if I leave it on most relevant, then suddenly I am being shown like 3 comments from the last 2 days rather than the 50-some comments I've gotten in the last 12 hours. This is a completely useless thing, but it is defaulting it to this most relevant view. So I said I'd talk about why I'm bringing this up, given that lots of YouTubers are already talking about it, and a lot of them a hell of a lot bigger than I am. Well, because it has to do with the issue of what can we do? What can we as creators do? What can you as viewers do? And really, about the only thing we can do is complain. Loudly. And on as many platforms as possible. Because, well, YouTube is an effective monopoly on long-form digital video content. It just is. It's by no means a monopoly on short form. They compete with Instagram and TikTok and a few other things, but those are the big ones for that space. But when it comes to long form, when it comes to video essays, when it comes to, anything close to what I do, if you're not on YouTube, you're not getting seen. That's just the way that it is. And Google has no problem with having monopolies. Google is confirmed to have monopolies, specifically in regards to the search engines. And no, that's not just me saying that. That has been confirmed through investigations and court proceedings that they have monopolies. The judgments for the remedies for that, for one of those cases, has come through, and they are f***ing pathetic. But they definitely do have a monopoly in search engines, and I would say they have an effective monopoly in a number of other areas. But you remember how Google broke their search engine because it made them more money to make it worse. We all did bitch about that. We still do. And they did it anyway. Well, they managed to do that because they have a literal monopoly on that. We really can't do much. YouTube, while it is pretty much the place for long-form video, the fact that it isn't the place, it isn't the go-to, it isn't an effective monopoly for streaming video and for short-form video, even though it would like to be both of those things. That does mean that there are more cracks in YouTube, and they have to pay a little bit more attention for when they piss everybody off. Now, will all of us complaining, bringing this up, adding YouTube, and in general just making a lot of noise about this, will that actually get them to roll some of this back, fix it, or at least frickin' explain it? Maybe. Maybe not. It depends on how many people do it for how long and how loud. But this is me being loud about it, as YouTube breaks the experience not only for you as viewers, but for us as creators. They are setting themselves up that if somebody can ever launch a viable alternative, so many people want to get off this platform. It's insane. And that is not a healthy position for them to be in. If they have any awareness of that, it might get them to dial some of this back. I mean, it's all happening because of the push for AI, which Google is neck deep in because they are developing their own AI tools and then forcing their subsidiary YouTube to figure out as many ways to use them as possible. I've talked before about the need to justify the expense of this investment. I did it specifically in this videos where I leapt off from the issue of how much worse subtitling and closed captions are now. And in exploring why that is the case, it's because even though the AI-generated subtitles are worse, having them there justifies the expense of either developing or paying to license the AI technology. Once you have it, you need to use it. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and AI is currently a very, very large hammer, and they want to bang everything into a nail shape with it. And this is the result. You get search results that aren't what you asked for. You have a recommendations page that is half stuff that you have never watched and will never have any interest in, and the other half stuff you've already seen.
Trust me, we got some excellent recommendations for you on this homepage. Have you heard of Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah, that's fine.
We noticed that you hovered over a video for more than 1 second, so it started playing automatically.
Oh, but
So we recommend that you watch 80 similar videos here.
Can you show me some of the channels I've been subscribed to?
Yeah, we're right here. Oh,
You have a subscription page that does not show you the latest output of people that you have said to this app that you want to see when they release new stuff. That was already a problem, and now it's a compounded problem with this ridiculous restricted view, which a bunch of you don't even realize you are even in, and even if you did, you don't know what it's actually keeping you from. Even if you think you want restricted mode, I guarantee you it is blocking a whole bunch of stuff that you would not think it would. And here we are. YouTube has always had problems. Look, every single website, platform, etc. has problems. But a lot of the problems on a lot of them have been getting worse lately. And a lot of that is compounded by the forced use of AI down our throats. Now, there was word a little bit back of YouTube trying to take steps to basically minimize the output of slop, because boy, is there a lot of that. That doesn't seem to have helped much, and I don't think they were ever really committed to that, because I think unless the bubble bursts on the generative technology, I think it's only a matter of time before YouTube integrates within its own backend and features for creators the ability to generate video and audio and just produce the slop in-house. You don't even have to make it elsewhere and then upload it. Now, have they done that yet? No. Do they want to do that? Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable in saying they want to do that. Or at least Google, the parent company, wants to do that. Because keep in mind, it is possible that there are people at YouTube who recognize how much AI output is wrecking everything. But as I talked about in the video on AI-generated subtitles, the people above them are behind the push for AI, and they are going to insist that it get used in as many ways as possible. And really the best thing that we can do is make as much of a stink as possible, is to make it seem like, and well, ideally make it for real, but at the very least make it seem like it is going to put them at a higher risk of losing stuff than they are going to gain from it. Because if we make a stink now and then all shut up about it next week, then it's just going to be chalked up to, it's a few teething troubles and people just don't like change. The same excuse that platforms and websites have made every single time they redesign the user interface. People always complain because it's new, but they get over it and they just deal with it. That's what they want from us on this. We are making a stink now, but we have to keep doing it, because if they think we're over it, they will not go back. They will not undo any of this, and it will probably get worse. Share videos that are talking about this. It can be mine. That'd be lovely. I would like that. But if it's videos from other channels, fine. Talk about it on social media. Use hashtags. Tag YouTube in your actual things and say, what the actual hell is wrong with you? You are screwing up everything that I like about your site. And if enough of us do that and don't let up on it, maybe, at the very least, we can stop it from getting worse, if not roll it back to where it was before. I don't do a lot of calls to action, but this is a case where I am going to say, if we do nothing, or if we only bitch about it for a week and then stop complaining about it, stop mentioning it on social media, or in YouTubers stop bringing it up in our own works, then yeah, the problem will not go away and will get worse. Do I love this being basically our only option as a tactic? No. No, I don't. But sitting back and doing nothing and accepting defeat preemptively is something that I have no patience for anymore. I never really did, but I at least understood, like, the sense of, it's not going to work anyway. I get it. But I have no use for that. And I refuse to capitulate to it and become that as well. Am I going to do another full video like this again? I might if the situation gets worse. But maybe not. Will I bring it up in subsequent videos? Yes. Will I do shorts on it? Quite possibly. This is something that needs to be brought up. I mentioned James Stephanie Sterling at the front end, and while that was initially just a joke about how she'd already picked the perfect title for a video about problems with YouTube, It's worth noting that she really can serve as an inspiration on this because she is one of the only people in video game space who has never let up about the problems with corporations in that space. She has never given ground on the fact that free-to-play style monetization models have absolutely no business being in full-priced video games. She has never capitulated to the idea that microtransactions in full-priced, AAA developed video games are normal and okay. She has never let ground on that, and would that more people had stood their ground. We need to stand ours, because this isn't okay. They're screwing with us, they're screwing with you, and they're doing it for the stupidest reasons, because the latest tech bubble needs to justify itself before it bursts. Just make a stink. However you can, however you have the energy to. I know that that's in short supply as well. And no, me bitching about this does not mean it is the biggest problem in the world currently. But it is a problem. Add it to the pile. And if you are concerned about me specifically, as I said, I can't really quantify how much this is costing me in views and therefore revenue. But I will say supporting me on Patreon is a hell of a lot more consistent and stable way to help ensure that I'm able to continue doing this for my living. Especially when I don't know why my videos are getting restricted. How much you want to bet this one does too? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Patreon is the best way to support me if you want to ensure that I am able to continue to do this, because this is my living. This is actually my full-time job. But even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe, signal boost, whether it's me or just the issue in general, please. Also, drop whatever your thoughts are on all this down in the comments and let's talk about it. But what I really want you to remember, even as we all get screwed over by big tech, no matter what, no matter how much energy you have to put into trying to do anything about this, or you don't have a ton and you're not able to do that much, whatever is the case, please just remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council, and I am just running the meetings for as long as I'm still able to be viewed on here. But until next time, this council is adjourned. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons, Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lafula, Auntie Kate 808, Mira G, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Movie Turtle, Oliver B, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Alyssa Pedersen, Mary Mello, Becky Sparks, Loki Eris, Tracy Scrabbit, Pau Barabajoggle, and Sir Didymus is my favorite, as well as Welsh Wrestling Geeks. So, folks said they wanted the rats back. Here they are. I really should have not worn something that exposed this much skin. Their nails are sharp. Ow. Oh, you guys. Get back here. Butthead.